What's up, guys? I just wanted to let you guys know that bear in mind that the videos that I make them with what I have to my disposal, and that's a phone. But yeah, if you can't hear the sound, maybe just hit me up with a message and I'll type it out for you. Peace out, guys. Okay, what up, guys? I was visited by Jehovah Witness today, and they invited me to some service of theirs, and I see it's about who is Jesus and why did Jesus die. So guys, there was like a QR code which I scanned, and it actually took me to a video. Now I watched the video, and the video is so much from the enemy that it's not even funny. So I'm going to look at the video and give some commentary on that. So further ado, let's hit it and expose the enemy.
Billions of people have died throughout history, but the death of one person stands alone. That of Jesus Christ. Why did he die? Did his death have a purpose?
Okay, Jesus. Okay, guys, so why did Jesus die? Okay, number one, Jesus died because he was a man, for those who did not know. Okay, secondly, why is his death so recorded? His death is recorded because he was an innocent man that was murdered, and it is sugar-coated to be said to be it's a human sacrifice for people's sins, which is a lie. He was murdered, guys. Murder, not sacrifice.
We need to go back to the beginning of human history. The Bible explains that God created the man Adam perfect, without sin. He was free to eat from all the trees in the Garden of Eden, except one. God gave the simple command not to eat from that particular tree. This tree symbolized God's right to set the standards of good and bad.
Okay, now first of all, Adam was not created without sin. He was created without the knowledge of sin or disobedience, because everything was perfect. The tree that he was not supposed to eat from represents knowledge of good and evil. So as they try to explain that it represents God's right to practice what's good and evil, to set the standards. It's not for him to set the standards. It was to protect us from that knowledge of doing good and doing evil. Okay, so he was not created without sin, and he was created like he was created, without the knowledge of good and evil. And without that knowledge, you wouldn't be able, to sin if you do not have the knowledge.
Symbolized God's right to set the standards of good and bad. As long as Adam remained obedient to Jehovah, he had the prospect of living forever on a paradise earth. But Adam did not appreciate all the good things God had done for him. He chose to disobey God. As a result, he lost the opportunity to live forever. But he was not the only one affected. All of his descendants have inherited the fatal effects of sin. By themselves, humans could not break.
Okay, guys, I doubt that Adam did not appreciate anything that God did for him. I think he did appreciate it. Okay, now it says that Adam chose to be disobedient to God. Now, listen to me carefully. Adam did not have the knowledge of making a choice about being obedient or not obedient. He did not have the knowledge to know what is good and what is evil. After he ate from the apple, then he had the knowledge. So the enemy with his wife actually manipulated the situation. They gave him the thought and the option of making a choice. If it wasn't for them, then he would not have chosen to be disobedient. But he didn't even know what disobedience was until he ate from the apple. Okay, so that is squashed, guys. He was manipulated in making that choice. Now, it says that everybody after Adam is paying for his sin. We did not inherit Adam's sin. We inherited the knowledge of sin and the knowledge of good and evil. But as good as God is, he's also giving us teachers and guidance from him of what is right and what is wrong, so that we can make an informative decision on good and evil. He's just not throwing us in the deep end and telling us to, okay, now make choices based on no knowledge. No, he's actually equipping us with the knowledge of good and evil so that we can make informative decisions. That's why he gave us free choice. And that's why free choice separates those that is forced to follow God. Because those who follow God out of free choice really follows God. Those who love out of free choice really love. If your love is not based on what people do for you, but out of a free choice, it's real love. So guys, we did not inherit anybody's sin. We are not paying for anybody's sin. We inherited the knowledge of good and evil. But as good as God is, he's equipping us with the knowledge to know what is right and wrong so that we can make informative decisions. And that is what Adam didn't have. So people, we inherited the knowledge, not the sin.
They needed someone to rescue them. For this reason, Jehovah miraculously caused one of his perfect spirit sons to come to earth as a human. Jesus was a perfect man, just as Adam had been. However, unlike Adam, Jesus remained obedient. This allowed him to give his life as a ransom in exchange for many. But how could the death of one man benefit all of mankind? Well, imagine that the manager of a large factory steals money from the company. His actions plunge the company into debt, forcing it to shut down. The workers lose their jobs and cannot pay their bills. Many suffer because of that one man's corruption. Now suppose a kind and generous man feels sorry for all those who are suffering. He is moved to pay off the debt and reopen the company. By canceling that one debt, he brings relief to all the employees and their families. Adam is like that corrupt manager. When he rebelled, he incurred a large debt of sin and passed it on to his children. Jesus is like the generous man. When he gave up his perfect human life, he paid off the debt of sin and reopened the prospect of living forever for each of us. You may...
Okay guys, that's the end of the video. There it just says, do you wonder what Jesus is doing right now, and so on, and it just promotes their cult. Okay guys, there's so much wrong with this video. Okay, number one, we don't need any rescue because we did not inherit sin and we are not paying for Adam's sin. Okay, so we don't need any rescue. That's the enemy that has brought that in. Okay, no man is perfect and no man has been born perfect. That is a lie from the enemy. No man is perfect and no man will ever be perfect. Jesus came to teach us. He wasn't a human sacrifice for our sin. A human sacrifice or any blood sacrifice is from the enemy. It is not of God. How can something as sick as a human sacrifice be seen as something for people's sin? Guys, the only way that you will be forgiven for sin that you commit is when you acknowledge it and you actually stop from doing it. Don't think that the murder on Jesus that has been sugar-coated to be a human sacrifice for your sin will save you. That is sick, and it is of the enemy. Okay, and first of all, Adam did not rebel against God. The enemy rebelled against God. Adam did not have the ways to choose not to be disobedient, because he did not even know about disobedience, because he only knew about that when he actually got manipulated by the enemy. So please remember this. The enemy is the one that rebelled against God. And the enemy was the one that influenced Adam, because he knew Adam did not know anything better. He would not be able to actually know what is right or wrong, or if it's rebellion, or if it's disobedience. And the enemy knew this, and that is how the enemy actually got his plan into progress. Guys, I'm telling you now, the enemy has been working very hard in manipulating what God is and what God represents. He has turned everything and sugar-coated everything to be sick. I can't believe that he's got this whole world literally manipulated into thinking that something as a human sacrifice will be accepted by God, who is love. I can't believe that people believe that God, who is love, would actually send his son in a human sacrifice form for our sin. I mean, that's giving people a free pass to sin and just say, yeah, but Jesus died for my sin. No, Jesus did not die for your sin. Jesus came to teach, and he was murdered by evil people. And they sugar-coated his murder to be seen as a human sacrifice for people's sin. This is sick, guys. So please, this video is so much wrong and so evil, I can't even imagine to think what these people are thinking. I mean, they are brainwashing people, and I know they will pay. God, thank you for showing us all these things. God, all of your truth, all in your will. So let it be.